first of all, thank you for having me here. This is awesome. I really enjoyed that last presentation. And me, from a disability standpoint, I am very excited about the new elevators. That was one of my big kind of issues that I had moving to this building. They weren't always that useful, but now that they're going to be renovated, that's awesome. So, as Professor Gerald said, my name is Andee Poulos, and I'm a senior this year in the SBTE program. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So, it's no secret that I'm a different type of student than the typical one that you would see. And I wanted to share with you why that is. So, I was born with something called an arteriovenous malformation, or an AVM. An AVM is basically a cluster of veins that don't really go anywhere. So, this blood and stuff that's flowing through the veins, they have nowhere to flow to. So they get clogged up and they create pressure, and that pressure can lead to different symptoms, or as in my case, it can be worse issues. I had a stroke actually as a result of this AVM rupturing in 2011. So from 2011, my goal was to return to school, which was really it was hard for me because you're in hospitals and you're not really allowed to see your friends, and you don't get to see all the parties and stuff from the school, but I still wanted to go back. So thankfully, after about 2.5, 3 years of rehab, I was able to go back to high school. I started my freshman year about 2 or 3 years past everyone else, but that's okay that I was a little behind, because as we know, these things don't have a timeline. They kind of take their own course, and you can't rush those things to go and happen in a certain time. So then after graduating high school, I came here. I'm doing, I think, pretty well here. I will hopefully be finishing my coursework this semester, and then I'll be doing 495, which I know y'all are familiar with 495, so if any of y'all have any leads or anything to share with me. I'm mainly looking to go into sports marketing, so that's where I would love to do my 495 if I could. But so that's a little about me. So.
Well, thank you, Andee, for sharing your story. So the questions we asked Andee at our diversity committee that day were, what was your biggest challenge coming into U of SC? I'm sorry.
So there were a few challenges that I faced that most people wouldn't face unless you're in a position similar to me where you have a disability. One thing that I try to remember is that people with disabilities, they have challenges that able-bodied people, I'll call them, they don't really notice and they take for granted, like walking around campus, going up steps, all that. Those are always challenges that I face every day that I have to navigate. So finding my best route around campus, like how I'm gonna do that most efficiently, and how I'm gonna get to every class most efficiently. Like, to get to your class freshman year, I had to leave my dorm, I think at 7:30 every morning, even though it was maybe a block or two away, but I had to navigate going up the ramp, which was kind of far away, and then having to navigate getting in and out of all the doors. That was a challenge in itself. So I think those were probably my biggest challenges.
Awesome, and you guys can even see in a room like this, we talk about dispersed seating in venues, and we have to remember our students. Andee was a young lady who wanted to sit up front. We don't have a lot of students who like sitting up front, but for her to navigate the steps each morning, just to get down front, freshman year, is a tribute to her perseverance. So Andee, what would you like, you mentioned the elevators, what would you like to see different here at the university that would make your journey or others' journeys a little bit better?
Well, apart from the elevators, I think just like having that openness that people have struggles, and that is very coming forward right now with the whole mental health being at the forefront of a lot of discussions, that people have issues that they're what we call invisible illnesses, or something that may not be as noticeable to the naked eye. So just like being more aware that those things are around and out there, I think that would be the most important. So that, because for me, it was a big challenge also coming from out of state to get people to see me for me and not first see like, oh, she walks with cane. Oh, she has a speech problem. She's different than all of us. And I didn't want that to be the first thing that people saw about me. So I guess bringing around that awareness of people may be different, but that's not all their story.
Very good. The third question, what would you say to a freshman? You're a senior now. What would you say to a freshman coming into our college here in the university in general that might make their journey a little bit easier?
So I love questions like this. So I have two big pieces of advice. First off, I would say to be welcoming to or accepting for people to help you. Like I was very prideful coming into college, and I wanted to do everything myself. So I would turn down people who would say, would you like help with this? But they're not trying to make you feel like you need help. They're just trying to make you feel like you're part of the university or part of the group. Like for a specific example, I was told multiple times that we had a disability shuttle service on campus. And for 2 years, I turned it down. I would not use it because there was that pride and that I wanted to do it all myself, that I didn't want to have any help, and that I wanted to get to all my classes the same way everyone else did. But then I think it was my third year here, I started using it. And I realized they're not there to make you feel like you need more help. They're there to make it where you're like the other students and you can be an actual student, not just different than anyone else. And also I would say to be open to asking for help, because advocating for yourself is a hard thing, but you'll be pleasantly surprised at how many people are willing to help you, and it'll just make you feel really good about where you are. And I found that very reassuring to hear that I'm not alone in this fight.
Andy, any other thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, so my injury was 10 years ago, and as you can see, I'm wearing this shirt. It says Andees Army, which is an organization that was started near the beginning of my injury, mainly to help me and my family to get through this time, but has since really grown and taken off to help over 200 other people. And I'm very proud of that. And if you want to learn more about it, I'll share the website with Mr. Gerald, and I'll be happy to talk to any of you about it. It's a really special organization, and I'm so proud of all the work they've done.
Well, Andy, I think we have a few minutes if anyone has any questions of Andy. What a compelling story. Andy, I know some of our professors would maybe like to have you come and speak to their classes, so we can get your information and share that with them so that you can maybe come and share your journey and help others. Whenever you've spoken to my class, I know it's been impactful. So why don't we give our guest a round of applause.